Hello, welcome along to Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor. We're back to preview the big Shergar Cup meeting at Ascot this Saturday. Let's introduce my guests. First of all, back from holiday, Declan Rix is here.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, good form, good break?
Yeah, very good break. Yeah, went to Portugal, played a little bit of golf out there, so it was good. But yeah, if anyone's looking for a game, my handicap is still 36. But
I was going to say, did you break 100 or not?
I did, yeah, no.
Well done.
Just about, probably.
And of course, Sam Boswell from the sponsors BetVictor is here. How are you, Sam?
Yeah, very good. Great Yarmouth on Thursday, as close as I got to a beach and a holiday. But
I was going to say, no holiday for us hard workers.
Exactly, and so busy time of year for you as well with everything going on.
Yeah, Shergar Cup, of course. I was talking about the Shergar Cup yesterday. I went to the media day and I was just thinking, it's kind of found its place in the calendar now, isn't it? In between sort of Goodwood and York. To start off with, it had its critics, but I think it's definitely found its place now.
Well, like, what do we moan about in this game? Prize money and competitive racing. Like, if the prize money on offer is outstanding, I think, you know, a couple of the races there, if you win the race, you've got training fees paid for 2 seasons. I don't. If you don't like it, fair enough, but. You know,
I think it's great. Turnover's reasonably healthy on it as well. You know, it's a busy Saturday, and the purpose of it is that it gives the opportunity to get a different kind of audience. So the crowd will be fantastic, and we do see a little bit of interest in the Silver Saddle and Top Team and things like that as well, which adds a different dynamic to it.
One or two unfamiliar names as well in terms of jockeys, I think. So we're going to be learning about those tomorrow as it goes along.
Those poor jockeys will be getting pelters on social media if they mess up a ride.
Yeah, I told them don't look at that if they don't win a race tomorrow. Right, should we talk about the Shergar Cup racing then? Should we start off with the Dash at 1:35? Which I think is a really interesting race. We've got Apollo 1, fresh from his brave effort last week in the Stewards Cup. Just found 1-2 good. I thought it was a bit unlucky that day to find that horse up the rails beating him. But A Day in Devon, Deck, let's go to you first. She's had a busy old season. She's been on the go since the spring, hasn't she? But she's held her form really well for Rod Millman, and she draws the Japanese rider.
Yeah, she absolutely has an incredibly likeable horse, I think, for an incredibly underrated trainer. She's very tough, versatile over 5 furlongs and 6 furlongs. But in a race with a little bit of pace, I don't think she'll get an easy lead up front. She likes to race prominently. I think Apollo 1 dropping in trip will probably go forward. Jordan Electrics won't be far away either. And there's a couple of others like Killian and maybe Holcomb Bay in there as well. And I just thought maybe Anthony and Sam, it could set up for a horse who likes to close off the pace a little bit. And I'm skint after that holiday, so I'm going for a big price in the first race. I'm going for Dream Composer there, who's available at 20 to 1. Look, he does come here on the back of a poor run last time out in the Stewards Cup, but look, I think any horse that weren't drawn very high in that race probably struggled. He's a 6-year-old now. He's probably just not up to that grade either, is he? But look, this is his run here 2 starts ago back at Ascot. There he is at the big white face, about 3 off the rail. And I thought he ran well. Didn't get loads of cover that day, but he finished out his race nicely. He's got course and distance form. He's a course and distance winner. Clearly likes it here. And I just thought at a big price, I could easily see him running into the frame. And if we get a little bit of luck, he might take the lot. Yeah,
drawn a good jock as well. Tygo Shea, be happy with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Tygo Shea, who's going to be riding for the British and Irish team.
Yeah, which is more Irish than British, I think, isn't it, this year around?
yeah. Well, I think Billy Loughnane with a name like that is actually counted as a British jockey.
Yeah, we're claiming him. Right, Sam, what's your thoughts on this race?
Yeah, market-wise, I completely understand where we're at with it, but I felt Killian, a couple of 3-year-olds have won the last 2 renewals of this race, and I'm really intrigued by him here, and I think at a double-digit price, I'm more than happy to back this horse.
He was a good 2-year-old, wasn't he?
He really was, and he's joined Archie Watson, and I suppose the 3 runs this season, you can probably crab them a little bit and be a shade disappointing, but when you think about the company he's contested in those, you know, and you go back to last year's form, wasn't miles behind Big Ev, so we saw to good effect at Goodwood last week, and this mark is interesting, and we mentioned jockeys. I'm perhaps going to be a little bit sided towards the home team jockeys in terms of jockeys that have the experience of Ascot. This is the first race on the card as well. Yeah, I do think it's a factor. Has the market missed it? Maybe not, but I thought Billy Loughnane, I'm absolutely delighted that he's on. If you go back to 2012, that was the last time a Rest of the World jockey managed to claim victory here. Anyone that's won that Silver Saddle has always had a bit of experience at Ascot, even the French jockeys. And I do think, especially early doors, that'll be a big factor. Killian's been gelded interestedly as well since the last run. And
that could be key with him, I think.
It could be. A mid-season gelding doesn't always scream. I wonder if it's a little bit of reaching for the excuses, but I'm prepared to go to the well once more at a double-digit price. I thought it was a very fair each-way angle.
My ambition is to get Killian and that horse Mbappe in the same race.
Yes.
Mbappe's rated a bit lower though, so that's
commentator's dream.
Yeah, commentator's dream. If that ever happens later in the season, perhaps in the sprint. We've got to move on and have a little look at the 245 race 3 on the card. This is a really interesting race. This is the Challenge. Loads of sort of improving stayers in this, 4-year-olds and up. Should we start with Insanity, because he is the favourite. He's got course form as well. He was second there, wasn't he? I think it was the Friday the King George meeting, and he was a winner before that at Windsor. Dec.
Yeah, he was. Represented the Alan King team as well. I thought maybe just about the correct favourite, but I'm actually going to side with Truthful here, lads. Interesting. The ride that she got last time out at Newmarket just stunk to me of a horse who had been lined up maybe for the Shergar Cup, so far out of her ground on the July course at Newmarket, obviously, which is just not the way to go about the business, your business there. But she ran very well in a warm fillies and mares race, won by Mistral Star, who I think is a really progressive horse with the Hughie Morrison team. And if you go back to her form at Paris Longchamp earlier last season, you know, I still think she's fairly handicapped off 95. She's well bred. She represents a top trainer in William Haggis, and I think physically there could be more to come. So yeah, I just thought, hoping last time out that that run suggested they were eyeing up this game and we eyeing up this day. And we shouldn't forget she's owned by a syndicate, and I think this is a very big day at Ascot that is good for syndicate. So I'm hoping Truthful can go really close under Hayley Turner. I never said Hayley Moore.
Nearly. No one's won more races either at the Shergar Cup than Hayley Turner. So, I mean, you're not going to be lacking for assistance in the saddle.
Absolutely, yeah.
Two-time silver saddle winner, you know, just seems to absolutely excel at this meeting. And, Dec, I think you're spot on, because Truthful's my selection as well, just to be a bit unoriginal. You've not left a lot of meat on the bones, but what I would say is the yard that this horse hails from, absolutely flying.
They are. They hit these purple patches, don't they, the Haggis team, sort of 2 or 3 times a year.
42% strike rate as we record this on Friday morning. I mean, you can't really get much stronger, and the price has already gone a little bit shorter than the graphic there, because I do think 11-2 was massive, and I'd be really surprised if Truthful doesn't go off clear favourite here. Yeah,
he's always been a big supporter of this event, isn't he, William Haggis as well? He normally has a good few runs on.
Yeah, the likes of William Haggis, Andrew Balding, Ian Williams, all trainers I think to keep a look at the Shergar Cup.
Yeah, I thought Andrew Balding's run of the goat had a bit of a chance here. I've gone with Cracks King, though. I know it's a horse that's never won on turf, but I watched his Kempton run last time. It was a bit underwhelming at Kempton, but I think it came a bit quick after his previous win there. I think he's a horse that is open to improvement still over staying trips. I mean, James Fanshawe, very good trainer of these sort of horses. I mean, you're not going to lack in the saddle with Tygo Shea either, are you? So, look, he's a horse who's open to improvement. I thought he had a bit of a chance. What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, look, it's a competitive race. By the very nature, this racing has to be competitive, doesn't it? It's a team event, and all the horses have got equal chances. Not equal chances, but they've all got a good crack if they turn up on the day. But yeah, I don't know. Like you said, Anthony, the lack of a win on turf was kind of steered me a little bit away.
Okay, he ran all right at Newbury early in the season, which I thought was suggesting. I think he'd be fine on turf, but 6-1 looks a fair enough price. Sam?
I thought of the rest in there, just to give a mention to Dancing in Paris, who turns out again quickly. I just think got a little bit good-wooded last time out, I think it's fair to say. And again, Ian Williams, as you mentioned, Dec, does like this meeting, and I just felt maybe there was a bit more mileage there, but probably an each-way play for me.
I did have him up on my shortlist as well, but I was worried. I don't see an awful lot of pace in this race, and that was a reason why I liked Truthful as well, because she's often ridden prominently last year, but was held up way out the back. I think with a more prominent ride in a race not lacking pace, hopefully Hayley Turner can get her into a good position.
Yeah, the problem I got at Dancing in Paris goes so well for David Probert, and you haven't got him this time around here. So
the David Probert fanboy here.
Fanboy.
I don't think I've anybody known to love a jockey as much as you love David Probert.
Oh, he's a top man. Right, should we move on swiftly to the Shergar Cup Classic, which looks so open, doesn't it? And indeed the mile, I should say, the 4:30, the last race. This looks a real tough race, but New Image is a horse I like. I think you like him as well. He's had a busy season. I saw him up at Musselburgh, I think, on Derby Day, but he's held his form really well, hasn't he?
He does, and he's the type of horse that David O'Mara and his team do really well with. They run plenty, but they're able to keep them fresh.
Looks like the horse box is okay for Saturday.
Yeah, hopefully. And yeah, they just do really well with these type of horse. They obviously kind of sweeten them up and keep them fresh in between races, and they work. He was actually trained by Ger Lyons at the start of his career, but since he's joined the David O'Mara team, he's performed really well.
Here he is, dark blue we're looking at.
Yeah, dark blue, and I thought thought, Anthony, that you could probably upgrade this form because he didn't get any cover, but he's settled nicely, which I think is important with him going up in trip. He also, as you can see here, raced on the wing, and I think going up to a mile is going to suit because he did get a little bit outpaced, but you can just see him closing here. He's doing all his best work late, and I think going up to a mile will hopefully bring out further improvement. You can see him there just running into second behind the enterprisingly ridden Northern Express. As I said, the big thing with him is I think the form is in the book. We can all see that. He's going up to a mile for the first time, but I think on pedigree, on striding analysis on the At The Races website, given how he settles and how he finished off that race visually, I think everything suggests he should be as good, if not even better, over a mile.
And he draws Hayley Turner as well?
Yes, yeah. I've got you're on about Ebor Pro, but I've maybe got my Hayley Turner pyjamas on today. Absolutely going to lack nothing from the saddle with Hayley on board. And the other thing with him is he's got good gate speed. I think he'll put Hayley into a nice position and before she can take a lead. Quick
trivia: how many times has Hayley Turner won this race? The last race on the card on Shergar Cup Day?
I'm going to say 3 times.
I'd be guessing go 5.
1.
Hey!
2009 she won it. She's been second though 4 times, including behind Seb Sanders in 2006.
Sebastian Sanders.
Going back a bit there, aren't we? But she's a veteran these days. You have to call her the Shergar Cup. Sam, betting point of view and your thoughts on this race?
Yeah, like all these, it's an open enough affair. But from a betting point of view, you mentioned obviously going back in time. Bless him. The pensioner of the field.
Loves Ascot as well.
I mean, a double digit in age, but it just seems to absolutely still manage to pop up every so often with a really good run. The best run this season came in the Victoria Cup, went 3rd, and since then, hasn't probably been as impressive. But
here it is.
You watch the horse here, and just the spirit and the heart. I just love this horse, and I just wondered. The mark has now tumbled to something like 94, I think, and you have to go back to sort of summer 2019, the last time it was that low, and that was when he beat Lord North. Now, plenty of water under the bridge since then, but I just think he's an admirable horse that will pop up, and I did just wonder if this sort of race had been on the target. Previously run at the Shergar Cup as well, without success, but has definitely been obviously earmarked for these kind of races, this kind of meeting, and I think going back to the mile will be helpful now.
Billy Loughnane is going to have to generate his inner Jamie Spencer, though, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Jamie gets the best out of this fella.
Yeah, well, if he reproduces that run in terms of kind of weights and measures and form and all, he goes very close, yeah.
OK, we've got to mention Carry the One, who won at the Racing League on Thursday. Could do a Racing League Shergar Cup double in
Ever been done before?
I don't think so. But yeah, Carry the One's interesting because he's got form in the Bunbury Cup that ties him with Alto.
Yeah.
He just got up to win at Chepstow on Thursday night.
Got form with New Image as well earlier in the International as well.
Yeah.
I just wonder, you were there, how soft was that ground last race?
A lot softer, I think, than reported.
Yeah.
And that was 7 furlongs, wasn't it, as well? He's up to the mile here. But
it would be a big effort, given how competitive this race is, to make it back-to-back. But if they take the opportunity to run here, fair play to them. And
the Racing League Shergar Cup double.
Yeah. That'd be some achievement, wouldn't it, by Michael Bell's likeable 7-year-old. He's had a busy season.
And the winner of this race gets over 49 grand.
Yes.
Are we really going to moan about this?
No, it's a good race. It's competitive, as you say. I mean, from a bookmaking point of view, Sam, I'm sure you'll see loads of interest in this meeting on Saturday.
Yeah, and people like the fact they can have each-way multiples through the card. You've got... I do think people tend to, and I don't know how much the market will react to this on the day, but they do tend to favour the jockeys they know. I think there's that initial bias. But as the card goes on, once you get a few of the other riders, if they take the races, then it really opens it up. And yeah, I mean, I have sided with more traditionally riders that know how to ride Ascot, but doesn't mean to say that we won't see some newcomers to there just turn up and
So, interesting, quickly before we finish up, when you guys were going through this, were you looking at riders first or horses first, or how did you approach it? A bit of both?
I had a look before the jockey draw was made.
Same.
So, and then I was just, I wasn't saying I was hoping for anybody in particular, but, I think some horses that need a bit of kidding along, you want your Shamey Heffernan, maybe your Tygo Shea, your Hayley Turner, perhaps.
Yeah.
But...
Yes, I did. I think I might have over-factored it.
Yeah, well, I kind of, like Anthony was saying, I obviously did all the kind of the form and that before the race, and I think I just happened to end up on 2 Hayley Turner mounts, and who's in the first race, Tygo Shea. Hayley's going to have to dust off the saddle and get back.
Going to finish on trivia. Shamey Heffernan, when did he first ride in the Shergar Cup? He's ridden it before.
Going to go 2007.
I'll go 8.
Oh, he should have gone the other way. 2006 he rode in it,
Wow.
So he's a veteran as well. OK, that's the Shergar Cup at Ascot this Saturday. Let's talk about York now on weekend winners. Of course, it's just over a week away, the big meeting on the Knavesmire, and Sam Boswell from BetVictor and Declan Rix here with me. Sam, we're looking forward to York, and you've got a few boosts for us as well, I believe. Yeah,
well, we set a bit of a challenge. You might only be here for the week, but we want to get a winner out of you. And we thought we'd boost the three prices. So we each had a stab at a race at York, and we're going to boost the price of each of our selections. So who did you go for?
I'll go first. I'm going to Asfora. I think she's got a brilliant chance in the Nunthorpe of reversing the form. It's one apiece, isn't it? It's a bit of a story of the summer now. This sort of battle between her and Big Evs, isn't it? It's getting quite exciting, obviously, after Ascot and then that close finish at Goodwood last week. Here's the Ascot race. I mean, this was a brilliant ride by Oisin Murphy this day. I thought he showed why he is one of the best in the world. He gave her an absolute stormer. There's old Big Evs on the... I say old Big Evs, he's only 3. There's Big Evs on the far side, running his usual game. I mean, I love Big Evs. What a horse he is, but, you know, he's £6 worse off for a short head from the Goodwood race. I think she'll beat him. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think this day, I suppose I think getting back onto a quicker 5 will suit Big Evs, but at the same time, how much ground did she give away kind of coming from the stand side out to the middle of the track? I know she beat him, it was a length and a half maybe. I think you've probably got to upgrade that form again there. And look, as you said last week at Goodwood, there's not much between them, but you know, if she gets her favourite fast ground again, she's going to go close. But a bit of a strange race, that, isn't it? We've had some real turn-ups in the Nunthorpe.
Living the dream last year for one.
I love that race though. I think you've picked it's just an interesting contest. Even if you're not having a bet in it, I think you can always make a case that you'd want to sit and watch it and work out who's going to win it. And obviously you get the odd 2-year-old in there as well, which always adds to the complexion of it. But I think it's a very, very good pick. And we've not been too dramatic with our boost there as a result. Out to 7-2.
Hoping for 4s, but look, I'll take 7. I think she'll go off short.
Come on, first time on the show and you didn't even give him 4s.
Too shrewd to be giving 4s.
Look, I think she'll go off a lot shorter. I think you're probably looking at about 2-1 on the day. So look, I'm happy with that. 7-2 boost there with BetVictor for
Value's the name of the game, isn't it?
You've come up with one at a huge price, haven't you? You're taking on City of Troy, I believe, in the International.
Yeah, look, I'm going to take him on at the prices. I'd find it hard to back City of Troy Ante-Post for that race at even money, given what we saw in the Eclipse.
He scrambled home, didn't he, in the Eclipse?
Yeah, he did. To be fair to him, I do think, and quite a kind of, what would you call it? What's the opposite of marginal gains? Marginal ungains. Yeah, marginal losses. I think a lot of little things went wrong for him on the day, but I just thought...
This is your fancy, isn't it?
This is at Zarakib. You can see him there in the white cap and the green on the far rail, trained by Jerome Renier, who big, massive news in France broke yesterday. He's joining up with Jean-Claude Rouget, 2 top trainers in their own right, joining forces, which is interesting. But we do digress. That's him in the green cap. I thought he ran a cracker behind Auguste Rodin. Now, you could maybe say he was a little bit flattered to finish as close to the winner.
That's a good run.
Given he sat further back off what was a ridiculously strong gallop. But the big thing with me, Ante-Post, is one, I thought he was overpriced just on ability. He's a 10 furlong horse. But the other thing I love about him is if York have a wet build-up, and we hope they don't, like City of Troy may not go there, and he's a horse who's won on heavy in France. You know, he's very versatile ground-wise, and I think whatever way the race sets up for him, he'll go close. I just didn't understand why he was such a big price, but I'm interested to see what price we got with the boost.
Let's have a look. Right. Sam, can you
drum
reveal?
Roll, please.
Drum roll, please.
There you go, Deck. How's that? A traditional price?
Yeah, I like it. I feel bad for Anthony now. He only got...
I got half a point.
Half a point, yeah.
Well, maybe it says what our traders think about your views.
Which is fair enough.
The only thing I would say that is win only. So if you want to go each way, you've got to try and find that, because I do think that's good value, Deck, and fair play.
And obviously the biggest thing with Ante-Post betting is
getting to the race.
Getting to the race. He is confirmed by his trainer to go there. It's going to be this run, and then they're going to go to the Arc.
And are we giving the French Raiders a bit more respect now after the King George?
We really have to.
Ascot? I think we need to.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I've always given them respect.
I haven't, if I'm being honest. I'll tell you what, that was showing my tipping.
Had a few quiet years, didn't they? But I mean, they've showed this year they've probably got arguably 2 of the best staying middle distance 3-year-olds around.
Absolutely, swings and roundabouts. And they were kind of the breeding industry there was probably a little bit unlucky to lose Wootton Bassett, who obviously went to Coolmore. But vive la France! I'm loving the renaissance of the French boys. Yeah, I love it.
Got the French Derby winner to come out again soon as well, hopefully. That'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Of course, the King George winner as well. Sam, what do we like? What do you like in York Week?
Well, I was left sort of with the Ebor, which nice easy race, yeah. And I kind of was looking back through it, and the last 3 years, you've had a 5-year-old and 2 4-year-olds win it, and I kind of do feel like the trend is starting to go towards slightly more unexposed horses. The race has obviously got so much prize money on offer. It's quite interesting to see Coolmore. I've only won it once. You've got to go back to 2001, I think it is, the Mediterranean maybe. Yeah. And I just think to myself, looking at Queenstown, this horse for me is a prime candidate to go really, really well in the race. Had to chase home Kyprios on the last 2 occasions. Obviously, we know what he went and did, both at Goodwood and at Royal Ascot, and he's very much back to his best. And
did you put her up at Royal Ascot as well?
I did, and she was a non-runner, frustratingly, in the last race. Yeah, that was on our Friday show when we were there. Was a non-runner that day, but I'm really interested to see. Obviously, he hasn't run since, but definitely, I've had this horse in my tracker a while, and the Ebor looks a natural target for this horse. A good prize money, and could just be a really top-class horse. And you go back through the form as well, finished in front of a horse that was 7th in the Ebor last year, so I kind of think there's enough to tie in. You know, as much as I don't get too carried away with the Kyprios effort, I do think there's form in behind to suggest that would definitely be competitive in a race of this nature, and I thought was a big price.
Yeah, quite likely race. And he had the 6 starts. That's Queenstown, the son of Galileo, for Sam. Right, the boost is coming in.
There we go. They clearly don't value my opinion. It's a bit like you did. 14s to 18s. We'll take that.
Is that with onlys?
It is, but
Yep.
I definitely think if the horse goes for the race, no way that goes off 18 to 1.
Goes off about 8s or 9s, isn't it?
In my book, yes.
Lines up from that stable. That's at Queenstown for Sam. So that's our thoughts then on the big meeting at York coming up. It's time now to reveal the best bets of the weekend from my esteemed panel here on Weekend Winners. So we're going to start off with Declan. What have you come up with? Nap, next best, Longshot.
Yes, we've already discussed the next best on the Longshot, but the nap is going to go over at the Curragh on Saturday.
Oh, kind of blue.
That is kind of blue, yeah, for the James Fanshawe team. Just a really progressive horse, and he's a horse I think could develop into maybe the top 6 furlong sprinter next year, because he's by Blue Point, but he's from the family of Deacon Blues, all those kind of horses that James Fanshawe trained, and they just all got better with time. So I'm hoping now, you know, we're getting into the second half of the 3-year-old season, he's going to get better again. With each run this season, he's stepped up, and I'm hoping he can do the business under Danny Muscott tomorrow at the Curragh. Then, like I said, we've discussed the next best and the Longshot. Truthful, I just thought she was given a very eye-catching ride at Newmarket last time out, held up well off the pace. I'm hoping Hayley Turner will revert to far more prominent tactics in the race, lacking pace on paper, and she will do for me in the Shergar Cup. And then in the opener, in the sprint on Saturday, Dream Composer, I think with course and distance form in the book, can go well in what's it looks a really open race. Look, he's a 6-year-old now, and maybe a little bit of rain would be ideal, but it's there's plenty of horses in there who might be better over 6. He is very comfortable over 5.
OK, that's Declan's 3. Sam, what have you come up with for us for this weekend?
Yeah, I'm off to Ireland as well for my nap, a bit like Dec. And Babouche, for me, is a really intriguing runner for J Lyons and Colin Keane. She's unbeaten in her 2 starts so far. Will need to take another step forward here. But after her Group 3 win, Connections nominated this race as the next target. And I really, really think with Whistlejack in there, you're getting a good price at 3 to 1. I think makes the market, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of shortening there. My next best, we're going to head to Haydock, and a horse that has been off the track for a mammoth period of time. But I've made this mistake in the past.
439 days.
But I've made this mistake in the past of taking on Owen Burrows' horses that have been off the track.
Layoff, yeah.
And for whatever reason, he seems to be exceptionally good at bringing them back. Last seen in France when running a Group 1, versatile on the ground as well, so I'm not having to be on weather watch for this one. And I just felt if the class is still there, Owen Burrows as well at the moment, absolutely flying. He's got a 33% strike rate. I just felt that could not put this horse up at 15 to 8. I think be interesting to see. The market may tell all. And then finally, my long shot has been discussed. The 3-year-old Killian, been gelded now. Really think of this mark. Hopefully Archie Watson can get a tune out of him, and will go well, hopefully, in what looks a competitive field. Yeah,
I want to be against Whistlejack as well in that race. He got beat at Ascot, didn't he? He won at Newmarket, but I think he's always a horse that's a little bit overbet, perhaps.
Makes the market for us as well.
Yeah, I think maybe at Royal Ascot the ground was a little bit quick for him. He's got a little bit of a knee action. He's low to the ground. That's my excuse, because I napped him at that meeting, so I'll get that in there.
OK, here's the ones you really need to worry about, though, because we're going to come up with my 3. Look, my nap's a big price. When I put this nap forward, the producer said, "Are you sure you want this nap?" I said, "Yeah, I want this nap." Look, Mina Rashid is a horse who's had really tough times. He ran the German Derby last time. He ran in the Queen's Vase behind Illinois before that. He won at Chester. I know it was only a maiden he won, but he beat an Aidan O'Brien horse. I like his attitude. I think they're going to go a good lick in this race. We've drawn a good jock as well with Shamie Heffernan. Andrew Borley's got 2 in the race. He's got Dan Buster as well, who's got a chance. But I thought 7-1. He was a bit bigger. I was hoping for a bit bigger, but I think Mina Rashid, Andrew Borley, he does so well with these sort of staying 3-year-olds. He's the master trainer of these. I really like him. I think he's overpriced. Indelible is the next best. Talking of trainers who excel with fillies, Rafe Beckett, no better at the moment. Irish Oaks win, of course, the other day. I think Indelible's very good. Ran really well at Ascot when she was on the wrong side behind Soprano. She won a really hot race at Doncaster earlier in the season, one of the best novice races of the year. So I've gone with her. And the Longshot Diamond on the Hill is ridden by Mr. David Probert over at Haydock. Look, he was second in that race last year, Diamond on the Hill. He's been brought slow. You can tell they go for this race again. So I've gone Diamond on the Hill in that race at Haydock as my long shot.
8-1. Is that long shot?
I mean, the nap gets away with it.
I know, I was going to say.
Putting us both to shame, Dec.
Yeah. First time on the show as well.
I don't think I'll be.
Give him a freebie.
If the long shot is shorter, is shorter than the nap, then I've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Look, Kate will be back next week, hopefully from holiday, so she'll be. Normal service will be resumed.
Cheers for filling in.
Yes,
really enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it. It's been good fun.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Enjoy the Shergar Cup.
Absolutely looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good prize money, competitive racing.
Hopefully a few winners.
Well,
Yeah.
that definitely would help you.
I'm going to work on the jockeys' pronunciations before the big day. But thank you guys for joining us for Weekend Winners. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers, Anthony. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
That's been Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor. Thank you very much for watching.